how long it took later. All right, here we go. Daf Beis Amud Aleph at the very bottom. The Gemara asks on our machlekes here between Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda what the word "ar" means. Does "ar" mean in our Mishnah day or night? And we found a number of cases which the Gemara deflected and said that it could simply mean light in most of those cases. Okay, so now the Gemara asks, second to bottom line, La'ar Yakum Reitseach. At the R, the murderer will get up, Yiktal Ani, and he will kill a poor person, V'avin, a destitute person, U'layla Yehi Cheganav, and at night he'll be like a thief. Okay, so without getting into what it's talking about, because it doesn't really affect the point over here, we see that the term R is being contrasted with Lila, that by R he's doing A, and during Lila he's doing B. So it's seemingly Hamid Kamar Lila Yehei Kaganav, from the fact that it says that at night it'll be like a Ganav, Alma R Yamamahu. So that would imply that during the R that it's referring to is the daytime. So the Gemara says, no, Hasam over there, this is what it can say. Ipshitalach milsa kinahira. If it is clear to you, obvious to you like daytime, meaning like light, it is basic and obvious to you. The anafasha is ka'asir that if he is coming to kill, then he is considered a reitzach, he is a murderer. And you can save him with his life. We'll explain in just a second. But if you're uncertain, like it's at nighttime, then you should treat him like a thief. He cannot be saved with his life. So what does this mean? So this, the Gemara says, is referring to the halacha of a baba machtaris, somebody who tunnels underground and is coming to break into your house. So the pasuk is saying that if it is clear to you that he is coming with intent to kill, then you are allowed to kill him. However, if it's not clear to you that he's coming with intent to kill, then you're not allowed to kill him. You have to treat him like a thief who's just coming for money and is not going to be, you're not allowed to kill him because you can't assume he's coming to kill you. So according to this interpretation, it has nothing to do with day or night. It just simply means that if it's clear to you like day or as bright as light, then you're allowed to kill him because you can, you know that he's coming to kill you, and if not, then you cannot. Now there's a machlekes here between Rashi and Tosfos. Is this talking specifically about a father and son, or is it specifically not talking about a father and son? Rashi understands, and this is the way he says it in Chumash as well, that when it comes to a father and son, you can always assume that he's not going to kill him. There's not any intention of murder here, and therefore you would not be allowed to kill him first. Tosfos says that no, it's talking about specifically a father and son, that you can only kill him if you know that he is going to kill you first. So basically, Rashi and Tosfos are arguing about whether there is such thing as a father and son pair knowing that one would kill the other. But anyway, regardless, that is the deflection of this proof. So now the Gemara tries another one. Meisvei will ask a question. Yikav la'ar v'ayin. V'ayira ba'af ape shachar. I'm not sure that I read all those words right, but the pasuk says that the stars should dim and they should long for the R, and it will not be there, and it should not see the morning. So this is Eov talking about how bad things are. So midaka amar yikav la'ar v'ayin, from the fact that he says that it will look for towards the R, and it will not be there. Alma ar yimamahu. So that sounds like it's talking about the daytime, because here we're contrasting the stars, which is obviously at nighttime. So if at night they're looking for something and it won't be there, what would it be looking for? It'd be looking for the morning. So it seems that the term R here is a reference to the morning. The Gemara answers no. Hasa mela to the kalayit le Eov l'mazle. Eov was cursing his own mazel. Amar, and he was saying, Yehei Rava, let it be the will of Hashem, the litzvei hach gavra l'nahira, that person referring to himself should look forward to the light. He shouldn't find it, meaning to say that his life is so dark and everything's so bad, and he is cursing himself, saying, I should be looking for the goodness and I shouldn't be able to find that. I should be looking for the light and not being able to find it. So again, it's not referring to day or night because it's talking about Eov himself, not the night contrasting the darkness, but Eov contrasting the darkness with the light. So basically, the Gemara asks another question. The pasuk says that darkness should surround me, and the night should be R for me. So what does this mean? Alma or Imamahu. So it sounds like that the R of this pasuk is referring to daytime because it's contrasting it with the night. So the Gemara says, no, this is what it's saying over there. David, this is what David says. Ani amarti, I said, that I will be surrounded by darkness in the world to come because of what had happened with Bathsheba. And the world to come is like daytime. It's bright, it's light. And I'm going to be surrounded by darkness in that world, which is all light. But now that Hashem has forgiven me, and I've seen that I have gotten this forgiveness, so this world, which generally is like nighttime, will be light for me. So meaning to say that he's saying that in this world of darkness, I will have light. So in this world of night, I will have light, meaning to say that even that which was bad in this world is now good because he sees, and everybody sees, that Hashem forgave David for what happened with Bathsheba.
So when he does get to the Olam Haba, it'll be right for him.
Yeah, but he's not even talking about that. He's talking about what's going to be here. He's saying originally I thought that even there where it's light, it would be dark. And now I see that even here where it's dark, it's light. Okay, the Gemara continues. So now we're done with Psukim. Now we're switching to statements of Tanaim. Rabbi Yehuda says, Baitzkin R Arba Asar. We search for chametz at the R of the 14th, Uba Arba Asar Shachris, and on the 14th in the morning, Uvasha Sabir, and at the time that we're supposed to destroy and get rid of the chametz. So now, what do we see? Clearly, may the Ka'amar of Yehuda Baitzkin R Arba Asar, Uba Arba Asar Shachris. So in fact, Rabbi Yehuda said that we check for chametz both during the R of the 14th and in the morning of the 14th. Alma or Urtuhu, obviously R there refers to nighttime. And in fact, Shemami, no, that is a good proof because he's saying you check twice. You check at night and during the day. So very clearly, Rabbi Yehuda understands that to mean night. Now, the Gemara is going to continue to ask questions, and the Mefarshim explain because that only proves that Rabbi Yehuda understood that the word R can refer to night. That doesn't mean that it has to, though, right? So we can still bring more proofs that, until we get to the point where we're going to prove that's the only thing it can mean, which is where the Gemara is going to end up eventually. I don't even think that's today. So stick around. That's another question. From what point on the 14th is a person not allowed to do malacha? Because in Erev Pesach, once it starts getting close to Yantif, you're not allowed to do malacha anymore. You have to be just getting ready for Pesach. You can't do other things. So when does that begin? Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Aimer Mishasa Ar. Eliezer ben Yaakov says it starts from the time of Ar. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Mishasa Netzachar. Rabbi Yehuda says it's from the time of the rising of the sun. Amalei Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. So Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov said the Rabbi Yehuda to Rabbi Yehuda, where do we ever find a day that part of it's permitted in malacha and part of it's prohibited? Meaning to say that Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says it should start from earlier. Why are you saying it starts from sunrise? So Amalei said to him, what do you mean? That day itself should prove to you such. Why? Because part of the day you're allowed to eat chametz in Erev Pesach, and part of the day you're not allowed to eat chametz in Erev Pesach. We all know you can't eat chametz once you get halfway through the day on Erev Pesach. So we see that the day already is split up. So why would it be such an issue that we also split it in regards to doing malacha? So now the Gemara analyzes this conversation and says, "Me the Rabbi Yehuda Mishasane Tzachama." From the fact that Rabbi Yehuda was arguing with Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov and saying it's from sunrise. Alma are the Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Urtuhu. So what was Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov saying? If he's not saying it's sunrise and he's saying it's earlier, so what's he talking about? Must be he's talking about the night. So we see that even Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov is saying that R is a reference to night. So the Gemara says, no, my R. What does he mean when he says R? Amud Shachar means dawn. So meaning the day definitely starts at dawn. Rabbi Yehuda says you can't do malacha from sunrise. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, what are you waiting for? What do you mean? You can't split the day up. Start earlier. Start from the dawn, because that's when the day actually starts. So R in this case can refer to the morning, referring to dawn. Then the Gemara says, "Oh, wait a minute. If that's true, the ka'amar le heichon matzinu yeshim g'tzatzi mutar matzis malacha g'tzatzi also matzis malacha." When Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov said to Rabbi Yehuda, "Where do you ever find a day that's partially forbidden in malacha and partially permitted in malacha?" Nema ilan avshe. Why didn't he just answer himself and say, "Ho'ika laila"? What about the night? The kashari Elazar ben Yaakov, the kashari that itself is permitted, even according to Elazar ben Yaakov. Right? Everybody agrees that you're allowed to do malacha the night before. The night of Erev Pesach, and we do B'dikas Chametz, everyone agrees you're allowed to do Malacha then. So if you're talking about the whole day, so then the day we know starts the night before. So that means the day itself is being split up because it only starts in the morning. Whether it's at dawn or it's at sunrise, fine, that's the question. But it certainly doesn't start the night before. So certainly the day of the 14th, which starts at night, is split between the time that you're allowed to do Malacha and the time you're not allowed to do Malacha. Right? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So if that's the case, so then what's he asking? Where do you ever find a day that's split? You yourself are agreeing that you split the day because you're only starting it in the morning. The Gemara answers, no, this is what he means to say. It makes sense according to me. We find that we split a day up between daytime and nighttime. Why? Because when it comes to, as we see the Tanya as well in the Brisa, when it comes to a public fast day, until what point are you allowed to continue eating and drinking on a regular fast day, not including Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av, other fast days, until what point can you continue? Up until the dawn. This is the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. Shimon says, Ad Kreisa Gever, until the rooster crows. So whenever it is, you see that there is such thing as splitting a day up between night and day. Because fast days start in the morning. They don't start at night. So according to me, it makes sense because I hold that you do see days that are split between day and night. But according to you, where do you find that the day itself, the daytime, is split? Because you're saying it only starts at sunrise. Well, what about up until sunrise? What about from dawn when the day starts until sunrise? So you're saying that we take a daytime of a day and split it. Where do you ever find that? We find that we split a night from a day, but where do you find that you split the day itself?
Eating malacha.
You
You have a difference in malacha as opposed to eating.
You could, but that's the question Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov is asking is, where do you ever find that we split a day within the daytime itself between two different things? So, what did Rabbi Yehuda answer? So, Amalei, and he said to him, Rabbi Yehuda said back to Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, Hu atzma yechiach. No, that itself, that day itself of Erev Pesach should prove it. Why? Because part of the day you're allowed to eat chametz and part of the day you're not. So we see that even within the daytime of the day itself, we do split it up. Okay, end of their conversation. So now the Gemara asks, didn't Rabbi Yehuda ask a good question, Rabbi Elazar? Right? Isn't that a good proof? The fact that you can eat part of the day your chametz and the other part of the day you can't? So the Gemara answers, this is Rabbi Elazar said to him. I'm talking to you about doing malacha, which is a rabbinic problem. And you're answering me a case where we split it on a biblical level, on a daraisa. Eating chametz before Pesach starts is a daraisa. That's a biblical problem. It's not darabanan. So the ad hacha asar rachmana, ad hacha shar rachmana. The Torah permitted it until this point and prohibited it beyond that point. The Torah said midday through Erev Pesach, you have to stop eating chametz. So the Torah itself split it up. So how could you show me from there anything about what the Rabbanan would do? But this whole idea that we're discussing is all about what the Chachamim would do. It has nothing to do with Da'iraisa. So how can you bring me a proof from chametz, which is a Da'iraisa issue, to our case, which is only a Rabbanan issue? So the Idach, so he answered him back, Shai is Rabbanan. Well, even within the prohibition against eating chametz in Erev Pesach, we have a Rabbanan as well. Because even though with the Eraisa you have to stop at 6 hours, halfway through the day, with the Rabbanon we pushed it up and said, no, you got to stop at 5 hours or 4 hours, depending, different opinions. We'll learn about that eventually one day. Mr. Shem, we shall live and be well. But there is a point where with the Rabbanon we added time and said you have to stop even earlier. So we see that even within the Rabbanons we do split a day up. Because even that, we don't say it from the first time in the morning, it's 4 hours into the day or 5 hours into the day, but it's certainly even within the daytime of a day, even in the Darabanan, we see that we split it up. So the Idach, so Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov says back, no, so that's just an extra precaution to protect the Doiraisa. But as far as creating a new thing midrabanan, that we don't find. So that is where they're arguing. Rabbi Ben Yaakov says we cannot compare one type of derabanan to another. Rabbi Yehuda says we can compare one type of derabanan to another. The Gemara asks, the concept of Masiyah Masuais is they would have to have witnesses who would witness and see the new moon at the beginning of the month. And if they came and saw it, then Beis Din would have to let everybody know that today is Rosh Chodesh and not tomorrow, because it could have been one of either of the 2 days. And the way they would do it is they would wave torches in one place, and then other people would see and they'd wave torches over there, and eventually everybody would find out because they'd see all these waving torches. That's called Masiyah Masuai. So now we only do that if the first day is Rosh Chodesh, meaning Rosh Chodesh can always be either day 29 or day 30. It can be one or the other. So depending on if we find witnesses or witnesses find the moon, that's how we'll decide if it's going to be day 29 or day 30. So we only do this whole waving thing if it's on day 29. Because if it's day 30, we don't need to do that. Day 30, everybody knows it wasn't day 29, so it's got to be day 30. So now, the Emasai Masi and Masuais, when do we do this? When, up until what point do we wave the torches? La'ar Iburai, to the R of the extra day. So what does that mean? What's when do you do that? Alma R Urtu. It must be talking about at night. Because when else did you wave torches? Don't wave torches during the day, right? It's light out. That's pointless. It must be at night. So we see here the term R refers to night. Shema Amina. This is in fact a good proof. And then finally, Meisei, one more question. If a Kohen Gadol was bringing all the extra parts that needed to go on the Mizbeach all night long, you can bring them all night as the night goes on. He's putting all of them onto the Mizbeach. La'ira, when it comes to the R, Ton Kiddush Raglam, he has to go wash his hands and feet. Right? Like in the morning, you have to wash your hands. So for this Kohen, when he was up all night, when the R comes, he's got to go wash his hands. So what's that talking about? Obviously, that's talking about the morning. So we see R means morning. The Gemara said, "Do you remember this? The opinion of Rebbe." So the Gemara answers, "No, Ira is shiny." Over there, it doesn't say R; it says Ira. It's light, and it's light. That definitely refers to morning because it's talking about the day, and it says he was up all night, and its light came. So that's different than simply the word R by itself.